Why do we continue to push information we know is false? One reason, we've been talking about this, right? Decisions are not logical. They're emotional. We try to mitigate disinformation using rationality, but it doesn't go over so well. We dedicate entire sites to debunking. But there's ultimately, right, this is called the logic fallacy in disinformation circles. This is called the logic fallacy in disinformation circles, because there's ultimately an influence problem. Right? Are we ultra social animals? Yes, we are, the kind of social animal that survives by forming and maintaining groups. So we are going to trust members of our in-group over members of our out-group. Motivated reasoning, we're motivated to reason in the direction of our in-group. We're going to reason that it's real, even if a part of us knows that it's fake. We're going to reason that it's real, even though part of us knows that it's fake. Because people on the progressive side are not to be trusted. Trust. It comes down to trust. It comes down to who you trust. It might be that you identify with that group. You know that that piece is fake. Implicitly, unconsciously, you know that that piece is fake, but it might be that you identify with that group. Some people choose to spread disinformation because it affectively speaks a little bit to their identity, their personal involvement. They might be motivated, they might be driven to share a piece of, quote, information because it puts themselves in a good light, right? They're motivated to do that. They're motivated to share a piece of information because they feel personally involved in what that piece of information is saying, even if that piece of information is not true. Because we are motivated reasoners. We are motivated reasoners who often form thoughts, values, and beliefs in service to our in-group. We're motivated reasoners, and we love confirmation bias. We love it. We love confirmation bias, the tendency to seek out, interpret information that confirms our previously held beliefs, confirmation bias. And what the neuroscience tells us is that when someone shows us that something is wrong, that is equivalent to feeling like we just got a paper cut. And when we confirm a previously held belief, it's like we just got a dopaminergic lollipop. Our pain matrix and our reward system drive this process of confirmation bias. So we spread disinformation because of our identity. We might identify with it. We might be motivated to spread it because we identify with it. And we might be motivated to spread it because it makes us feel good. Because disconfirming the piece of information actually feels bad. It feels painful to our brain. But there's something else. And this is really important as the pandemic kind of grinds on. And I know we've had that mask mandate lift, but this will be with us for a while. It's important to look at disinformation in a different way. And I think that this is useful for looking at any kind of piece of information that people are spreading that might be harmful or contrary or untrue. Disinformation sharing as social signaling, not as lack of facts. We just came out of, are still in, a world of COVID-19. A time when a threat that we could not see threatened our mortality, right? Threatened to kill us. What do we do under realms of threat? We go to our in-group. Right? We are the kind of social animal that survives by forming and maintaining groups. We go to our in-group when we feel under threat. What were we told? But to isolate. We have an instinct to go to our in-group under times of threat, but because this is a pandemic, we were told to isolate. What? How in the world are we going to be able to know, as biological beings, we need to bring in our in-group. We need to connect to our in-group. We feel like we're under threat. We're the kind of social animal that survives by forming and maintaining groups. What else are we going to do? But we are going to socially signal. We're going to get online And we're going to signal to others that we're a member of that in-group. We are a member of that in-group. We will form our social group via social media in this case. So the confluence of the three, right? Pandemics. Now, pandemics the world over, when people looked at SARS, Zika, Ebola, the tendency for outgroup members to be scapegoated, for violence to be enacted against outgroup members has been documented in each of those cases. It was not terribly surprising that we saw an uptick in anti-Asian violence and anti-Black violence as well during the pandemic. It's happened for Zika, Ebola, and SARS. And so here we had to socially isolate. People use disinformation to signal in-group cohesion. And in some ways, we might interpret all of this into how our brain tricks us into believing things that we know are false.